The mind cannot be securely anchored. If we do not advance, we go backward. If we do not grow, we decay. If we do not develop, we shrink and shrivel. Robert Greene Ingersoll.
Inconceivable!
Will you please act like you have more than a 2-word vocabulary?
Is there air? You don't know!
And now, a yak.
Yakk! Yeah.
Hey, don't touch that dial. You found Secular Yakking.
I'm Robert.
And I'm Amy.
After years,
No, many years of yakking at each other.
we're here to yak at you.
So sit back and enjoy the yakking.
Welcome back, everybody. I hope you had a wonderful week.
I swear it sounded like you weren't going to do anything.
I haven't thought about it.
Yeah, well, you were just sitting there staring at me like, anytime now.
All right. Anyways,
Yes, dear.
we have a show to do.
That's usually why we show up.
Usually, yes.
Uh-huh.
Anyways, we do have some new Twitters.
Twitters.
We got Kirsten Oliphant, The Business Show, Be the Church, Clinics Go Social, Bobby Klink, and Religion News.
Yay, Twitters.
I don't think Be the Church will be around very long.
You never know.
No, usually not.
You have little faith.
About a week is all I get out of that type of account.
Yep, that's
But
wonderful.
that's okay. I don't mind.
That's wonderful.
And we didn't get any new iTunes reviews. It's been a while since we've done that.
Okay.
So, please go review us.
Okay, sure.
You don't care.
I'm good either way.
Sure. All right. I do have news, though.
Okay, that's usually why we show up, but sure.
A video game sparks a new religion.
Wait, a new religion from a okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
An Overwatch fan in Brazil managed to successfully and officially register a church for Hanzo in that country.
Sorry, I was listening.
Am I that boring?
No.
Yeah, sure.
My back hurts. I threw it out last night and I'm in so much pain it's not even funny. Anyways, so he came up with a religion from playing a video game?
Yeah, Overwatch.
And
Apparently a very, very popular game.
And this isn't one of those you fell for it, Mon things?
No, this is not.
I just moved wrong. Uh-huh.
The goal of this experiment was to demonstrate how easy it is to start a religion in Brazil.
Oh, okay.
This is important because religious institutions are exempt from taxes.
Sounds
much like
familiar.
Mateus, not saying it. The fan responsible for this idea wrote that registering a church is relatively simple. You need an address, 5 people, a lawyer's signature, a written statute, and some fees.
How different is that from here?
That's
what do
actually
we have to do that?
That's actually more than we have to do.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Isn't ours actually like a little less than that?
Yeah, basically you just have to have service, some sort of religious service, and it's a religion.
Oh, even more so. Okay,
Yeah,
sure.
Basically.
And I think it's Magnon. No?
Okay. I'm not sure.
Yeah, anyways.
A notary's office will then approve the paper, and you're free to request tax immunity. See, you don't even have to request religious immunity here. You just have it.
Right.
It's assumed.
Right, exactly.
So he points out that although the Constitution means well in that it aims to protect religious freedom of any cult no matter how small, the regulations are easily exploitable if you're looking for a legal way to avoid taxes.
Right, which I think there's...
Or launder money.
I was going to say, and that goes straight for here as well.
Choosing Hanzo as a particular was another way for him to show how easy the whole thing is, even when it's based entirely around one of the most hated characters in the popular game.
And what is this game? Because
It's called Overwatch.
I don't know this.
I'm not sure what it is either.
I was going to say, I don't play too many video
cool.
games, so...
Some of the other amusing details include the ability for members of the Church of Hanzo to request Tuesdays off for religious studies, and the fact that you're forbidden from using the words Hanzo main.
So you would get every Tuesday off?
Every Tuesday
I
off.
want to make a religion.
Yeah. However, baptism is performed by playing one Overwatch match. I think it's a 1-on-1 like Street Fighter type thing.
Okay. That's just weird.
So it's apparently very, very easy to create a religious organization in Brazil.
So was he able to go ahead and create this?
The religion of Hanzo exists in Brazil. It's one of, I think it was like 60,000 registered religions.
It's hard to take any of them seriously when there's so many.
Yeah, it basically becomes a issue when everybody has their own religion.
Right.
And
Does he have any followers?
Oh, he has to have at least 5.
Oh, okay. Well, I wonder who. All family members,
Well,
maybe.
I don't know. I guess the guys he plays with.
I would say they're the guys he sits around and plays with or something.
It's just, I like the story because it shows how silly tax exemptions for religious organizations are. Because anybody can get them.
And it's not even in your country.
Yeah.
I mean, it's easier.
And like I said, it's actually harder for them.
Right. It's easier here.
Just ridiculous.
I agree.
All right, I got something else.
Okay.
Atheist threatened lawsuit over Johnson Amendment exemption in GOP tax bill. And this comes straight from
Saw that
American Atheist.
Yeah, right.
Following the release of the House Republicans' tax cut package today, American Atheist threatened a lawsuit if the bill were to become law. Included in the bill is a provision that would exempt churches and other religious entities from the Johnson Amendment, the 1954 requirement that nonprofit organizations, including churches, refrain from partisan political activity, which includes endorsing candidates or spending money on election campaigns.
Right.
Okay? We talk about this a lot.
Yes.
The language of the bill would allow religious groups, but not secular nonprofits like American Atheists, to endorse or oppose candidates, as long as the activity was part of the ordinary course of the group's activities.
I love how they pick and choose.
Well, I read this provision of the bill, and it specifically states that if a group falls under 508 1 or 508A provisions 1 and 2, which specifically talk about faith-based organizations, then they qualify for this exemption.
That's ridiculous.
And only faith-based organizations.
Well, that's what I was just going to say. This is just for faith-based.
Right.
Yeah, I mean...
Yeah, it's just for churches.
Talk about picking.
Yeah. This is discrimination.
Yes.
100%.
It doesn't get more clear than that.
Yeah. David Silverman, president of American Atheist, said, "We will not sit idly by while Congress creates a massive loophole that would turn churches into unaccountable, tax-deductible super attacks for billionaires to hijack our nation's electoral system. With no transparency, no disclosure, and even a tax break for donating, every church in America would become a political weapon."
Oh, yeah, absolutely. That's
agree.
what this is designed for.
Yeah, this is designed... Well, yeah.
I mean,
that
is what its sole purpose would become.
It is dark, unaccountable money, right? Because they don't have to turn in any paperwork.
Right.
I mean, they don't... you could just create a religion. Literally, like the guy did in the last story.
That's what I was going to say. You could mix the two together, the two stories together.
Well, think about it. The Hanzo religion.
Every time you say that, I hear Han Solo.
Hanzo. Okay, the original Han Solo.
But yeah, I mean, and then you could go ahead and put your 2 cents, buy your way into the elections.
I know.
Because that's all that's going to be designed for. Who can give the most money and get what they want.
Yeah, I mean, that's just the nature of politics. So 501c3s are set up as, they have specific things that they can do. And endorsing candidates with tax-exempt status is one of the things that they can't do.
Well, I was going to say that's one of the things they cannot do, which is a good thing because it keeps them out of buying politics.
Right. If you want to be a political organization, register as a political organization. Right. Go with the 504. Just go do
what's even more ridiculous is it's not just getting rid of it. It's just saying, oh, we're only going to get rid of it for these people and not these groups.
Yeah.
That's where they really went wrong.
Well, according to estimates from Giving USA, Americans donated more than $119 billion to churches and religious groups in 2015.
It's insane, but sure.
If just 5% of that money had been redirected for political purposes, would have eclipsed the total amount of money spent on the 2016 federal elections, $6.5 billion.
That's
Do you
insane.
imagine that?
That's insane.
They were talking that the 2016 was like this $1 billion, first time we're ever going to have a $1 billion election.
Oh,
And now
But the fact that the churches rake in that much money is crazy. You can
Ridiculous
never tell me
of
that
money.
a church is not a business.
No, it is a business.
Because that's what their bigwigs are in it for.
Yeah.
They're in it for all that money, not because praise Jesus kind of crap. They're like, praise the dollar. I mean, truly.
It is. That's why we have in God we trust on our money, right?
Yeah.
Because our money is God.
I'm telling you, that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Hey, y'all, this is Tucker from the Atheist in the Trailer Park Podcast. And I might live in a beer can, but I ain't no inbred redneck. And if you listen to my podcast, I'm going to learn you something. And no, I ain't talking about how to marry your cousin and not have kids with 16 fingers and stuff like that. I mean, I actually talk about real stuff. teach people where the Bible stole its stories from. So y'all give me a listen, would you? Thank you.
All right, I've got another story.
Mm-hmm.
Nurse tries to perform exorcism on inmate having seizure at a jail.
Why an exorcism for someone having a seizure?
Linda Herlong Jackson, a nurse in Oklahoma City, has been banned from the Oklahoma County Jail after allegedly performing an exorcism on an inmate instead of seeking actual medical assistance. The inmate died the next day.
But why go to he's possessed when he's having a seizure?
Okay.
I mean, she's a nurse. She knows what seizures are.
Well, this is the report I have.
And the fact that people have seizures.
So the inmate had been arrested on drugs charges. When she began having seizures, Jackson was called to administer medical aid. Jackson reportedly asked employees of the jail if they would mind if she performed an exorcism.
Did anyone object?
I'm not sure. But she did say, "I revoke you demons," and during the ordeal.
You lose track, did you?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And that was before a sheriff's lieutenant demanded the ritual be stopped. So, yeah, someone did object.
That's insane.
The next day, Freeman, the inmate, died of acute coronary event due to methamphetamine.
Mm.
So she was having a drug overdose and seizure.
Right.
She may not have lived anyway, but still, that's not the point.
But basically, the nurse performed nothing.
Yeah.
She gave that person no medical attention of any kind.
Right.
So you can't say for sure she may or may have not lived.
Yeah.
I mean, who goes straight to a freaking exorcism? Okay, A, she's a nurse. B, she's in a jail where drug addicts show up on a regular basis. It's not like this is something new and foreign and unheard of and we should perform an exorcism. It makes no sense to me. None.
So Jackson had been an employee of Armor Correctional Health Services, which contracts with the jail, meaning she could not be technically fired. But she can be banned from the premises, which the sheriff did.
But she still gets to be...
She still gets to be a nurse somewhere else.
Somewhere else.
So, the sheriff said, "It's our position that because of this incident, she cannot work at this facility. Her job is to provide medical care. Doing what she was doing was not providing medical care."
That's pretty clear.
Jackson denied the incident ever occurred.
What?
"Oh, brother," she said, "no, I didn't do an exorcism."
Oh, so she's flat out denying
Well,
it?
somebody's lying.
Well, I was going to say, which is it?
Yeah. Then she went on to say, "The patient didn't die, by the way, on my shift."
But I didn't save them either.
Yeah. "I would appreciate it if you wouldn't try to sensationalize something that's already been settled." What's been settled?
Somebody's got to stick up their butt.
She's currently not facing any criminal charges, and the sheriff has turned over evidence to the district attorney's office. I'm thinking she's going to get negligent homicide. If it turns out she actually did,
well, I was going to say when they
did.
Performed an autopsy. I mean, I know that the person had the meth overdose, but at the same time, if it's ruled that she could have made a difference,
right,
had she done her job at the time,
maybe
she should get held for something, whether she could or could not have made a difference in saving that person. She should face some kind of punishment because
I agree.
She was hired to do a job and she didn't do that job.
I don't want my nurses doing exorcisms, that's for sure.
That's just insane besides the point. But the fact that she was hired to do a job, she did not perform said job, therefore punishment should follow.
Right.
End of story, regardless of what it pertained to.
I agree.
Okay, I'm just saying.
Just hoping. Yeah, I prefer that she didn't do the exorcism, but I'm pretty sure she did.
I don't give two craps if she did or not. The fact that she didn't do her damn job is the problem.
Okay, I got it.
Just saying.
I am an old man, and most people hate me, but I don't like them either, so that makes it all even.
Do you know I watched that movie the other day?
Did you now?
I don't know what was with me. I was just into watching it.
All right.
Anyways.
This is actually a Potter Award, and we're going to have a short update at the end because things just changed today.
So it's an award for this person.
Oh, yeah, he still gets the Potter Award.
And you still have and the update is on this person?
Yeah, it's a live update. You're getting live updates on the show.
Ooh, aren't we special?
Don't start with me.
Too late.
Virginia delegate Bob Marshall, who's up for re-election today, told Religious Right Radio host Sandy Rios he would not refer to his opponent, who is a transgender woman, by using her correct pronouns because he, quote, never flunked biology and understands, quote, the laws of nature.
He sounds like a winner already.
Oh, yeah, he's a good winner. Marshal appeared Sandy Rios in the morning to attack his opponent, Danica Rome, who would be the first openly transgender straight legislator if elected.
And this was his whole purpose, was to just do this? I mean, as far as appearing on that show?
No, he was talking about other stuff, policy stuff.
Uh-huh.
But it came up, he's running against a transgender woman, right? That's going to come up on this sort of show.
I know it comes up, but to me, what difference does it make?
Oh, I don't know.
I don't care if they're transgender or not. I want to know what they stand for.
Right.
Anyway,
he said, it is not a civil right to masquerade your fantasies as reality. But standing up to this is somewhat difficult because you get called all kinds of names. And rightly so, if you're doing this.
Uh-huh.
And if you're going to be shying away from because someone calls you a bigot or a transphobe or whatever it is, probably there's something you should not attempt. So basically he's saying he's going to stand his ground and not use the proper pronouns.
And he does not apologize for it as well.
Yeah, he went on to explain he's not going to back away from the issue. He says, I've drawn a line. I'm not leaving it because I don't make the laws of nature, but I think I understand them. And at least at this fundamental level, I never flunked biology, so I'm not going to call a man a woman, period.
Okay, but where is it that he thinks it's his point to tell someone else who they should and should not be called? It's not his place for that.
That's part of why he's a Potter Award winner.
He's an a-hole.
Because he believes he has that right.
Yeah, well,
he believes that he can either use someone's dead name or call them the wrong pronoun.
It's the same,
and deny their own identity.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It is no one's place to tell someone else what they can or cannot call themselves. And the same goes for whatever belief system, religion, or whatever. You are not going to tell someone else what they are or who they are or any of that. It's not your place. And I don't understand when people think that they, I don't have the right isn't the right word I'm thinking of, but, are okay with being able to tell someone who or what they are when you have no say-so. People get to decide who they are, what they believe, and no one is going to tell them what they're going to be.
Yeah.
I mean, it's ridiculous.
But that's not all.
Okay.
He is seriously anti-LGBTQ.
Uh-huh.
I think that's all the letters.
Mm-hmm.
It changes occasionally.
Anyways.
Following Congress's appeal of military don't ask, don't tell policy in December 2010, Marshall proposed a bill to, quote, ban gays from openly serving in the Virginia National Guard because he is worried about service members catching STDs from gay troops.
Wait a minute, what? So he's worried about the troops getting STDs from gay members or gay service members? Is that what he's saying?
Yeah. So he justified this legislation by saying, if I needed a blood transfusion and the guy next to me had committed sodomy 14 times last month, I'd be worried. I don't think he understands how
Boy, he needs to go back to school. They obviously didn't teach him anything.
I don't think he understands when they do a blood transfusion, it's not from the nearest person. It's not how it works. They have stores of blood in other places.
I love how he thinks that everyone's going to get STDs because apparently, according to him, all service members sleep together.
No, he's talking about from this blood transfusion. Like they don't check.
I thought it was just, I'm like, okay, so they're bi then. So, everyone's sleeping with everyone.
Yeah. Also, he says, it's a distraction when I'm on the battlefield and have to concentrate on my enemy 600 yards away and worry about this guy who's got his eyes on me.
Oh, my
Someone sounds a little closeted to me.
I already thought that about 10 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So he's more concerned.
So that's how he thinks, though, if you think about it.
And that's the way he treats women, by the way.
What do you mean?
Usually when guys like this are worried about a gay guy staring at them, that is exactly how they treat women.
Oh,
because they're
staring at the
they're
women.
afraid a man will treat them like he treats women. That is exactly what that says. 100%.
Well, that's what I was saying.
That
that sentence actually says more about him than anyone else.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, if that's how he sees things.
Yeah.
Because, okay, anyways.
All right. Also in May of 2014, Marshall filed paperwork for the impeachment of Virginia's Democratic Attorney General Mark Herring. On the grounds that Herring as he had promised in his campaign, had refused to defend the Commonwealth's ban on same-sex marriage in federal court.
Boy, he's just on this huge anti-gay train or something.
Oh, yeah. The impeachment demand was swiftly rejected by his fellow Republican, Virginia Speaker of the House, William J. Howell. Marshall also called for the impeachment of judges who might overturn the ban.
I wonder if he went to one of those summer camps for kids trying to get the pray the gay away kind of camps, because it almost sounds like he might have attended one of those.
Yeah. In January 2015, he introduced Virginia House Bill 1414, which would enable refusal of service to persons based on same-sex marriage or homosexual behavior to any public or private business in some way licensed by the state. So basically, licensed to discriminate.
Right.
Critics suggest the law, if enacted, could be used by hospitals to turn away patients, restaurants to refuse to serve, and to remove students from schools, and compared it to Jim Crow laws.
Is this his entire energy? I mean,
it's a lot of it. It's a lot of it.
It seems like he's stuck on anything that pertains to this.
Yeah.
It's like this is his sole purpose.
Well, no, he's pretty bad on other things too.
Oh, okay.
Because he's also against women's reproductive rights.
Oh, well, we got to stick that in there, of course.
In 1989, when Marshall was working as a research director of American Life League, he told the Boston Globe that he opposes all forms of abortion and birth control that take effect after conception. He said, "We're against the IUD and pills too. They don't prevent ovulation and conception. They prevent implantation, which is abortion." Which is not true.
No, it's not, you idiot.
According to the Globe, Marshall also railed against Norplant, a contraceptive not yet marketed at the time, that is implanted under skin and works for up to 5 years. He said, "It's a real tribute to women's intelligence. They feel so irresponsible they can't do something once a day."
Wait, what? Back that train up.
So, you know Norplant, that thing they stick in your arm?
Yeah.
No,
I know.
Yeah. He was saying that women are so pitiful they can't even take a pill now.
But he bitches about the pills, so what's he talking about?
When asked about abortion in case of incest, Marshall replied that sometimes incest is voluntary.
What the?
Which is technically true, but that doesn't excuse it. Incest.
Oh, what? Sometimes is what you're saying?
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah, well, I'm going to go with probably 95% of the time it is not.
Probably not.
Just sticking it
I don't know,
there.
cousins. I grew up in the South. Cousins and cousins, it happens.
You lived in a weird world, but still, 90% of the time, it is not voluntary.
Sometimes you don't know, because they lost track somewhere in the cousin
normally,
line.
it's not voluntary because you have family members that are living under one roof who think they can do things to other family members.
Well, that's different.
That's what I'm saying.
So, in response to abortions in the case of rape, Marshall said, "Your origins should not be held against you," referring to the victim's unborn child. The woman becomes the sin bearer of the crime because the right of the child predominates the embarrassment of the woman.
Wait, what? Translate that?
He's saying that the rights of the child supersede the rights of the
child that came
victim.
from a rape is what you're saying?
Yes.
Oh,
and that the woman bears that sin, by the way.
Well, I was going to say, wait a minute. What about the rapist? And also, he's always assuming it's a woman being raped by a man. I have heard of instances of men having things happen to them.
Oh, it happens a lot.
Does he just not think that happens as well? I mean, but regardless, why? No, it actually doesn't surprise me. I was going to say putting the blame and shame on the victim instead of the person who is doing it.
And during the 2012 legislative session,
you just cannot talk, can you?
Marshall and other Republicans supported a measure to require women in Virginia to undergo transvaginal ultrasounds procedure before being allowed to have a legal abortion. God. I remember this.
Yeah, that sounds very familiar.
Yeah. Public protests about this invasive procedure caused Virginia Governor McDonnell to withdraw his support for the bill.
What is their purpose for having them have an ultrasound before an abortion?
They can go to the TV and say, "Look, it's a child." That's exactly why.
Do they honestly think women don't fucking know there's a child there? I mean, seriously.
They seem to think, well, there's two reasons. One, you have to schedule in advance, right?
Uh-huh.
So there's a time frame there. So there's a waiting period for that.
Uh-huh.
And then they think they can convince you, if you're sitting there seeing a picture, that, you know, what's going on. It's ridiculous. But by far the worst thing he has done is what he said about disabled children.
Oh, God, he's going to pick on kids, too.
Yeah. In February 2010, he made a statement regarding complications of abortion on disabled children at the press conference to oppose state funding of Planned Parenthood. This is good. The number of children who are born subsequent to the first abortion with handicaps has increased dramatically. Why? Because when you abort the firstborn of any, nature takes its vengeance on the subsequent children.
Oh, my God. Seriously.
This is a direct quote. In the Old Testament, the firstborn of every being, animal and man, was dedicated to the Lord. There's a special punishment Christians would suggest.
Oh, my God.
So he's saying, if you have a disabled child and you had an abortion, then that's your punishment.
Okay, then why is it punishing the child and not the adult then in their eyes?
I don't know.
Because in that sense, punishing the child makes them hypocrites and cruel as hell, because they're talking about, the child comes before the rapist kind of crap, but yet at the same time, they're going to punish the child for something the mother did, but yet the mom is supposed to carry the sin.
Well, yeah. So
of the abortion.
If I remember, I don't have this quote exactly, but
the rape, I mean.
Yeah, there's the sins of the father shall carry onto the sons for 7 generations.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah, there's something like that. I don't know.
Anyway,
basically, they're saying that if your family is bad, then you must be bad, and that's what this sort of stuff comes from.
I was just about to say, why does anybody join this train? But then again, back in the day, I was religious. But then again, I'm an atheist now, so obviously I wasn't that religious.
Yeah. Marshall initially claimed that his remark had been misconstrued, but in a press conference in April 2014, Marshall said he stood by his previous statements, saying, quote, "I don't care. I mean it. If I say something in public, I say it in public."
I know, that was very Potter of him. Mm-hmm. Congratulations.
Yeah, which is why...
That was nicely pottered.
Yeah, which is why he won the Potter Award.
Yeah, that was actually very pottery right there.
But guess what? Guess what he didn't win?
What?
His re-election.
Yay!
That's the update. So,
good asshole.
What was her name? I missed her name somewhere. Danica. Turns out she won by about 9 points.
Wow, that's close.
So, no, that's a blowout. When you
is it?
Yeah, that's 9%.
Oh, okay. But that's really...
So he's as of...
Did you say this was in Oklahoma?
No, it's Virginia.
Oh, Virginia, okay.
Yeah, Virginia was
the other story was Oklahoma.
Virginia was a huge election thing this year because they had governor, they had lieutenant governor, they had Senate, they had delegates, they had all this stuff going on. And I'm happy to report everything went Democrat.
That's a good thing for maybe the rest of the country for a while.
The General Assembly picked up a bunch of Democratic seats. So basically Virginia went all blue.
Interesting.
And they were pretty red on the last one.
Right, so yeah.
That's good news. I mean, he won the Potter Award, but he lost his seat in the Senate. So.
But he should be proud he won the Potter, is kind of how it sounded like you said that.
For him, I think the Potter Award is a better thing for him than for him to sit in the Senate and make laws.
Well, that's just for him being his natural self. He won that award for.
Yeah. Anyway, so I like the good news.
Yeah. It's about time they stop electing these freaking jerks.
Yeah, it looks like, I know it's a little off subject, but I was following the election earlier. It looks like a lot of places going blue. New York went blue. New Jersey went blue.
Oh, really?
Virginia went blue. I'm waiting on Utah and some other place. I forgot.
Well, I imagine that's kind of like a good view into the future. Is kind of how I see it.
So if people show up, it turns blue.
Yeah.
Right? That's just the way it is.
Well, I'm really hoping with, the coming elections and stuff that after this crazy train we're stuck on, that people start voting and making a difference.
Yeah.
And
Trump has
not just walking away.
Right now, Trump supporters are a very vocal minority.
Oh,
I can tell you that right now. His approval rating is below anything. Right?
Does they have an approval?
He's close to negative numbers, I think.
Yeah.
And I want to see the same sort of turnout in 2018 when we actually...
Right, that's what I'm thinking.
When we have Congress on the line.
Right, that's exactly what I was thinking for the future. Hopefully it'll be the case, People get out there and vote and make a difference.
I think the December 12th special election in Alabama is going to be a huge thing because that's the Roy Moore, Doug Jones. And I think that's going to be a litmus test for the rest of the nation. If that goes blue, if Alabama actually elects a blue senator, then we can see what's going to go on with the rest of the country. And even if Doug Jones gets close, I think that's going to be huge.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for that one.
We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, because Roy Moore is one of my favorite people.
Okay, crazy.
Anyway, that's all yakking I got for you.
I know, I'm done. I'm in so much pain, I need drugs.
All right. We'll see you guys next week.
Next week.
We always like to hear your feedback, so leave us a voicemail at 704-802-YAKK or an email at podcast@secularyakking.com.
More input.
All comments are welcome. We like to hear the good, the bad, and the ugly. You also can find us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Google+.
If you like our show, head over to your podcast directory of choice and leave us a 5-star review. If you really like the show, support the show on our Patreon page.
I'd buy that for $1.
And we'll be back next week with more yakking to please your eardrums.
Bye-bye, boys.
Have fun storming the castle.
Think it'll work?
It would take a miracle. Bye-bye.